This episode of American Horror Story, episode 9, airing on Halloween night, was very, very well done. I've been pleasantly surprised the last 2 weeks how good these episodes have been. Where after that Lennon Dunham episode, people kind of got nervous about where was this going to go? Where are they angling this with adding this other cult? But it kind of got more focused again and got really exciting here. I love how this episode opened up showing all these cults that Evan Peters betrayed, each cult leader, and it really was cool that they brought in the Jim Jones thing, the most popular cult suicide ever done. And it was really important here because it kind of was a nice history lesson and explained how cults actually work and how it relates so much to the cult that we have at play here. And now, I think this is where the strength of the show is coming out, where it's finally hitting that theme in the title, cult, and delving into the horrors of being in a cult and what actually goes on. So this episode to me just felt very full, maybe the most full episode of the season from this top to bottom. And a lot of people I've seen on Twitter complain about, why do you have so many characters being portrayed by the same actor? I like that Evan Peters is playing all these iconic figures this season. I think it's kind of cool, and I feel like he's a strong enough actor to pull it off, so I'm never feeling like it's affecting my viewing or understanding what's going on. I think it's smart and refreshing in a way, to be honest. So as the episode went on, there's some really strong scenes. I really like the scene where Allie here is talking to Ivy, and Ivy's basically trying to say, I'm sorry for doing this, and basically screwing you over. And it was great to finally see Allie get her words in towards Ivy and call her out on everything. But what stole this whole sequence for me was when Winter came in, brings Oz in, and she suggests they run away from Kai. And she goes, oh, I found a 14-step article on WikiHow on how to get out of a cult. Hysterical. That was really good and very clever, and a little sneak they threw in there of humor, which I really like when the show does that. But then when we think they're planning their revenge and these girls are going to get Kai taken down, the men come for an emergency meeting that Kai wants. And they said, bring Oz. This is where it got a little weird because he's like, yeah, Oz can hang upstairs. But during that sequence with the Kool-Aid, you're telling me Oz was upstairs the whole time, and then he got to leave, and then when he comes back again, he's kind of kidnapped. I thought that was a little strange and didn't make much sense. Maybe not keep that line in where they say, yeah, bring Oz, and he can play upstairs. That felt off to me. And in that scene, though, when they tell the girls about the emergency meeting, really interesting that Allie, again, takes out another Twisty book and gives it to Oz. I don't know what they're hinting at, and with the connecting of seasons here that they keep teasing us with, but it's interesting. It's definitely something you gotta take note of. I'm not sure where it's going. If you guys have any theories on that, why they keep going back to that, and that happened at the beginning of this season as well with Twisty, please comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts. Then I thought it was funny when Beverly came down the steps, and they're all at Kai's place, and she punches Winter, and she's like, you liar. And that was kind of shocking. Winter just threw Beverly completely under the bus to save her own ass. Pretty harsh. And this episode again gets you confused on where Winter's head is at. She's a very complicated character, which I like. You never really know what she's thinking or where her true allegiance is. And again, it goes back to that here where you're thinking she's got to be totally anti-Kai now after he basically wanted to have an incest child with her. But she still is trying to survive, and she throws Beverly out the door. So, but I still like her, but I thought that was funny. Beverly came and punched her. And then they do the Kool-Aid scene, and they were teasing us, but you knew, come on, they couldn't have everyone kill each other. It's the whole cast of the show here, especially Evan Peters. He cannot die yet. So I like that it was a fake out. That would have been pretty bad if they just killed everybody there this early. But it was really cool it went back again to this Jim Jones thing. So this episode was really strong in the sense where it started, where it was in the middle, where it all connected. It all didn't feel like, why did that happen? Why did this happen? That's so random. It toned that down a bit and was so focused. That's what I've been asking for this show that hasn't been here in a while. So props this episode because it's showing it still can do it this show. Now the best scene of the night was Allie killing Ivy. I saw again a lot on social media people hating Ivy, including myself. Did not like her choices. They weren't justifiable. It was all kind of out of jealousy and spite. And Allie called her out on it. And it's so great to see a character you like getting that out, saying what the audience is feeling towards Ivy. She screwed up everything. That's the reason they're in this mess. And right when Allie brought out that wine and said, I've been waiting for a special occasion for this, I knew it was poison. Knew that was happening. Happy it did. It's a cool way to get Ivy off guard. And Allie had some great lines here. I think the best line of the night was when she's talking about her time in the psych ward. And she's like, I got over my fear, and I had to fill that hole with something else. And I filled it with revenge on you. So powerful. Sarah Paulson again brought it in the scene, and so did Allison Pill playing Ivy. That's probably one of the best poison deaths I've ever seen acted out, because a lot of people when they die from poison, they just like go, but she was like screaming and horrified too while doing it. So really good job there. And another great line Sarah Paulson had here when she said to Ivy too on her way out was the two things she wants most is wanting Oz all to herself and watching Ivy die. So when we go back to the Jim Jones story to end this episode, and Kai's doing his little story time thing with all the guys in sleeping bags, which is pretty funny. But Oz is at his time, and Oz is calling him out on his BS, and Kai is not having it. And that goes back to like, yeah, when you think a cult leader's making any sort of sense, a lot of it's just inaccurate what he's telling them. And Oz is exposing that now, and it's just showing that Kai is making a lot of this up. You think he's making a lot of sense in some points, but he's not. This is all just him. He's lost his mind, basically. And he's just manipulating, telling what he has to say to get more and more power. And I really like how they had this element of where Kai hints that he is Ozzy's father. And then Sarah Paulson's character, Allie, goes and checks on it, and he's not, which is great because I think it would have been too easy to make him that. But she brilliantly gets the clinic worker to fabricate the documents and show Kai on it that he is Ozzy's father. And then you see her master plan unfold where she has Kai at the dinner table, shows him that picture, and he's convinced. And when he got that tear, you knew she was fooling him, which I wasn't sure she'd be able to pull off because he's usually one step ahead of everyone. But him getting that emotional, she does have that effect on him. It's like crazy knows crazy best and how to beat crazy. And that's the strength of Allie's character and how well she's been developed this season. But I really thought she poisoned Kai here, and that was her chance to kill him. But I'm glad they didn't do that. That would have been too easy, and I don't believe Kai would have just died that way. It wouldn't do him justice. He needs a brutal death, and it would have been too repetitive with Ivy, so good point of laying off that chance they could have done for shock value, but they held back. Because again, you need Kai till the end here. And if someone's saying, oh, she could have killed him right there, why didn't she? She also thinks about Oz, because he has Oz and knows if she kills him, that means other cult members might kill Oz and get revenge. She has to worry about him too and make sure she can let her master plan play out to be able to get Oz out and get rid of Kai without risking Oz's life. Now, when Allie tells Kai about her killing Ivy, I thought that was pretty interesting because then they bring Ivy's body back to Kai's place in that creepy room with those dank-ass bodies. And I thought it was so funny to see the brother now throw in the bed. And Kai's like, oh yeah, that's just her family. So Ivy's got to basically go on the floor. So there's 4 dead bodies in there. So weird and creepy and twisted. And it has to be so gross. But there's a lot of humor there too, so I really like that. And isn't that why we watch the show, for that out there stuff and those out there moments that you don't know whether to be scared or just laugh at? Again, it's still entertainment value here. But this is really setting up for a good last 2 episodes. We're almost at the finale. Can't tell where Winter's head is at. Will Allie get this master plan accomplished? She's clearly not actually falling in love with Kai and on his side. This is all an act. It has to be. If you disagree with me on that, let me know down below. I'm excited for these last 2 episodes. I'll be reviewing both. So before I go, my final rating for this episode that aired on Halloween is I'm going to give this an 8.5, which is pretty high for American Horror Story of late. But these last 2 episodes have been great. I still thought last week's was the best this season. I gave that one a 9. This is an 8.5. Still keeping up great momentum. I hope they can finish strong. The previews look good. Please come back for my reviews of the last 2 episodes. Please subscribe. Comment below what you thought of this episode. I respond to everyone. Let me know your thoughts, theories. Agree with me, disagree with me. Don't like what I said. Anything. Just let me know. I love talking about this stuff. Yeah, and I do tons of movie reviews, other TV shows, and celebrity interviews as well. So check that out. I did an interview with Matt Passmore, the lead actor of Jigsaw. It just came out this weekend. So please check that out as well if you're into all the horror stuff. And please keep coming back.